Okay, let me see. How'd that go? Don't you, don't you pick those tomatoes by the end of the road. That's where those salty ones grow. No, 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 that's not it. Hello there, good people. Hi, I'm Jason with Green Country Agroforestry. You're looking at an Amazon page here. I'll switch over here and look at you directly. Hello there. Hi, I'm Jason with Green Country Agroforestry. It's Wednesday evening, 7 p.m., give or take. Dark outside this time of year, and of course, being Wednesday evening, it's time for another live stream. And uh, Cat is over here just not getting enough attention, apparently. Yeah, whatever. Nobody likes you. Go away. It's that time of the month for her. Hi, everybody. Let's see who's in the audience here. We've got Brian, and we've got Sassafras Red and Mary, and Vicky is here. Hi, Vicky. So a couple people. Howdy, howdy. I actually managed to get the camera set up over here to the side. So occasionally, whenever I look over here, I'm looking at the screen over here, the camera. We got a replacement cord for it that's only about yay long. The big long cord, the 50-foot long cord, is busted. It won't work. The camera itself is still a little out of sorts, but it's held together with a bit of super glue and baling wire. It'll work for now. I don't have any duct tape on hand. Oh, yes, I do. I could have pulled it together with a little bit of duct tape, I suppose. John is Asper's Red. They were saying he's got some volunteer tomato plants that have popped up. They're already 6 inches tall. I'm saying this makes pretty good house plants. Mary says, well, in that case, you're going to be cleaning the house. I've got some house plants over here. Let me grab them real quick for you, show them off to you. Boy. All right. So, as you all know, not too long ago, I harvested our sweet potatoes. We got about 15 pounds worth of sweet potatoes out of it. And of course, you'd expect that to be it for sweet potatoes for the year. Next year, you're going to take a sweet potato, lay it on its side, get the potatoes started. You saw the video where I started sweet potatoes from the potato, grew the slips off, and then said, hey, you know what? Let's have some fun and let's take those slips that we've already gotten started and clone more slips off of them. And that gave me the idea to do, well, what we're doing here. These are sweet potato vines. It's just as we were getting close to the end of the season with the, let me get these up so you can see them. Sorry. As we're getting close to the end of the season, and I was getting ready to harvest the sweet potatoes, I went out there and I cut off a few vines, and I stripped off the lower leaves, and I took a bucket full of water and put them in the bucket full of water, and now, as you can see, they've rooted in that bucket of water. These are, of course, our vines that were growing in the yard just a couple of weeks ago and producing sweet potatoes from this season. I've rooted them in this bucket. We're keeping them in the back room where I've got a small window that faces the east, or sorry, small window that faces the south. Horrible with directions. Small window facing the south, and they stay in this bucket that's full of water. I occasionally throw a little bit of feed in there for them, which doesn't smell all that great, but it makes them grow pretty well in the bucket. And every so often, when we get a little bit of growth coming out that I can harvest, I'll clip it off with a pair of scissors and put it in another glass of water, this time without anything to feed them. Sorry about my backside. This time without anything to feed them, just a regular jar like this one here. See that jar? And in order to, I got bugs crawling all over the thing, darn it. All right, here we go. In order to help keep the root zone area dark to help them root, and of course to keep the temperature up inside this little jar full of water, I put one of these little koozies on there, a little drink holder, and I got this one from my friend Tim at Ridge Life. Go Ridge Life, and it works great on a little pint jar in the window facing the south to help get your little sweet potato slips that you're starting from cuttings to root. Can you see the roots starting to form on this one here? Is that in focus? Okay. Yep. Right there. Right there. The roots forming right there. So when I was first starting out that bucket full of sweet potato slips or sweet potato vines, trying to get them to root, I neglected to keep the water in the bucket up. So this is actually a slip that I started off of these plants to replace the one that I wound up killing by not letting the bucket empty out. Anyway, put this over here. Isn't that nice? Well, thank you to Tim at Ridge Life for giving us this nice little device here to help me start sweet potato slips. Boy, I'm sure he wasn't thinking about starting sweet potato slips when he was passing them out at the meetup at Pryor, but I surely did find a use for it. Let's see. Vicky saying, many blessings. Oh, what? No gum? Oh my goodness. All right, let me show you what we found on Amazon. And not, okay, well, I'll show you this thing. This is what Mary got. Here. Blanket plant cover. It's 10 foot wide, 30 foot long, and it sounds nice. Of course, it didn't come with any hoops. It's just the cover. Just the cover. Just the cover here. This was, I think, about 20 bucks. Mary, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's about 20 bucks for one of these. I didn't see it whenever I was looking through the list. Go to the full screen for Amazon real quick. All right, so here is our Amazon screen over here. And here are 6 pieces, greenhouse hoops, rust free, grow tunnel, 4 foot long, steel with plastic coated, plant supports for garden, etc. It's $20, $19.96, but it's $20. This is the prime choice, the Amazon Prime choice. $19.96 it says. So that's free shipping for, of course, people with Prime, which we have. All right. 6-piece greenhouse hoops, 4 foot long, steel, plastic coated, plant supports for garden fabric, plant support, garden stakes. So these stakes are bent. They're a total of 4 foot long and bent in that arch. There's 6 of them in the unit. All right. And that's $20 for 6 of those. Well, that just seems a little pricey. Let me go ahead and close this and stop the share. All right, so 20 bucks for hoops. That's a bit much. I think we can get a better price than 20 bucks. That's what? Somewhere around $3 a hoop. Hoops, Mary, hoops. All right. I'm sorry, if I look over here, I'm looking at the screen. If I look over here, I'm looking at the camera, so you're going to be seeing my ear. Isn't it nice? Nice ear, right? All right. So Mary and I went out to the friendly neighborhood Atwoods. When was this? 2 or 3 days ago? Yesterday? I can't remember. The days all run together. And we got some PEX tubing. Now they had PEX tubing there and 5 foot long lengths that we could have used to make the hoops. 4 foot hoops over there for 20 bucks, or 5 foot they were $2 each. So 6 of those at $2 each would have been $12. That would have been a savings. It would have been a lot less expensive to use 1/2-inch PEX tubing to make hoops for these. But we figured we're going to have probably use for a lot of these in the future. After all, that's a 30-foot row cover there, and she got another package that was also 10 by 30. Mary says the little ones, yeah, but the little ones are only about that big. It's a little, that's good for seedling starts, but not good enough for the potato plants that we got started. I really want to have some potatoes that I grew myself this year. We started some last year in the spring, and of course, being spring, the way our spring works here in Oklahoma, we have a very, very short, tiny window of cool weather in the spring, and then it gets hot. We just go winter, summer, and kind of just jump over the spring part. But in the fall, usually we have a good long cool season. So I figured this year I was going to take advantage of that long cool period and grow some potatoes, by golly, and some carrots, and I got some radishes out there, and I think we got some celery growing in one spot, and a few other things. But of course, we're going to have frost here, and well, my shoulder is trying to tell me maybe by tomorrow morning, but usually by the end of this month, beginning of next month, we'll have frost on the ground. And then the frost will go away and we'll be back to more or less spring-like weather for a while, which will be nice. We just have to make sure our plants survive that fall. All right, so we already had lots and lots of these guys. This is rebar. Got 3 foot long segments of rebar, which you can cut into 3 different foot long pegs if you wanted to, or you just drive it down the way it is. As sandy as most of the soil is in the backyard and everywhere except for that one spot that's all clay by the driveway there, we previously mentioned, you can drive these down as deep as you want. So I don't even have to cut them up. I just take the ones I've already got, drive them down. Whenever I'm done using them, I can pick them up, move them around somewhere else. They'll be fine. This one was a little bit rusty, but I just hit it with the wire brush to knock the rust off of it. It's fine. And will continue to be so for years and years and years and many, many uses. And all right, so Mary and I were there and we said, hey, if $2 a pop for that PEX tubing is good, then what if we could get a better deal than that? So we got this 100-foot roll of 1/2-inch PEX tubing. And I can go ahead and cut the plastic wrap off of this thing here. And probably make a mess. And probably make a mess, but we'll see. We'll cut this up into segments. I figured 4-foot segments, I can get 25 of those. 25 4-foot segments for $30. That's how much this 100-foot roll of PEX tubing was. So let's see, 25 for $2 each would be $50. This was 30, so that's savings of $20. And compared to the $3 a piece for hoops on Amazon. How many would 25 hoops, 4-foot hoops, at $3 a piece on Amazon be? $75. So $30 for these, or $75 buying that stuff from Amazon. I'll let you do the math yourself there. Hi, Vicki. What are you saying here? You use 2 layers of covers. I understand you can each growing zone by 3 zones. Yeah, I think it is. For every 2 layers of plastic, you get 3 zones, give or take. Of course, here in Oklahoma, during the winter, the zone changes. They don't mark it as being the zone changes, but the zone changes. We become zone around February. We become zone 2 or 3, and that's no fun because the prairie just gets cold. And then during the spring and the summer, we're zone 7. All right. So now I've got all this wonderful tubing. It's gonna be a mess, but we're gonna work through it. Yeah. You like that? Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna beat up my guitar over there. Chestfred says, don't you have air moving to get that benefit? Yeah, come February we'll have air moving and it'll be below 0 air moving. All right. Let's see here. Try to straighten this out a little bit. All right, we have got a 4-foot long measuring stick. So we'll measure to right here. Woohoo, hatless. All right, and I've got this nifty little tool, which I don't remember how much we paid for it, but it sure is a lifesaver. This is a PVC pipe cutter. Okay, PVC pipe cutter capable of cutting 2.5 inch, I believe it was, PVC pipe, which is great because 2 inches is just about the right size for making steaks for beans and everything else. Okay, how easy it is. All right, so we've got one hoop, 4 foot. There we go. Now I just stretch this across the row there where I've already driven in the steaks. And there is our hoop. There's our hoop for the row covers. Ta-da! Isn't that something? All right. Now I already put down, how many of these did I start out with? I put down four sets of hoops earlier. So I did this earlier today. Mary is griping at me about goofing off when I should be getting those row covers up. My shoulder tells me probably tomorrow morning we might have frost. Sometime tonight it'll arrive. We'll have it on the ground tomorrow morning. So I have until tomorrow morning to get this set up, guys. All right, I've already measured off 4 foot. So we'll just there's 2. Rotate the stock here. There we go. Trying to get a spare hand. 3. Friends here. John Pumphrey's in the house. Mary's saying, "Is that big enough?" Yes, it is, because the rebar takes care of most of that vertical height, and then cutting these at 4 foot gets us that little arch across the top of the row, and that row is only 2 foot across. Drop one of Mary's beer bottles on the ground. Oh wait, that's my beer bottle. All right, so that row that we built with the cement blocks. Have I showed you guys the my little gopher-proof garden area back there? A little gopher-proofed garden. So if we bend these, so they are just outside of that 2 foot wide garden area. We have that much arch, and then I've got our stakes already sticking up about a foot and a half to 2 foot off the ground, and that gives us, by golly, our hoops. Now, if you needed them longer, you can cut them longer. If you don't happen to have rebar that you can use for the ends, you could cut them a little bit longer and just stick the ends down there in, say, if you're using cement blocks, you put the ends right down inside the cement blocks, the top of the cement block, and there you go. That would give you your hoop as well. So you don't even necessarily have to have rebar to stick into the ends of these, but rebar just makes them so much more convenient. And now the ones I set up for last night, that's just a tiny little box area. I've got 4 hoops now made. And I can put that row cover over them. And if we get frost tonight, we will be just fine. Although at the moment, it's mighty warm in here. I don't know if we're going to have any frost tonight, but we'll see. Whew. I got a fan going behind me. It's still warm. I think the floor furnace kicked on over there. I might have to adjust the thermostat a bit. Hey, we've got Arkansas Woodcutter in the house. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany. Wait, are you Tiffany or are you Quintaris? Because You guys are, yeah. Hi, Tiffany. How you doing? You're using hula hoops. That's a good idea. Mary's got some hula hoops around here that she isn't using anymore. I could probably chop those up and make use of them. Ah. Vicky's saying, getting black walnuts from local veneer quality trees for seeds. Ooh, that's nice. I do like some black walnuts. I hate cracking them open and getting the nuts out, but I do like some black walnuts. Mark is eating biscuits and chocolate gravy. That's nice. You know, I gotta tell you, I've never had chocolate gravy. Gasp! Never. I haven't had any. Hmm. Tiffany Q2U says the one that's been supporting my sweet potatoes blew away in the storm today. Wow. Wow. Well, I know you guys were getting some rain down there, but that you got some storms too. Woohoo. You guys still have those Okinawa sweet potatoes? The pretty ones? Those are some pretty sweet potato plants. Everybody is experimenting with sweet potato plants this winter. Mark's doing some experimentation with them. Of course, I know Farmer Q's been doing some. I got this. Okay, so this is part of my getting potato slips to root setup. I started this one just a couple of days ago. It's already got roots started, but little pint jar, a little bit of clear water in it, and yeah, it'll be fine. Might change it out in the next couple of days. Every couple of days, you want to change out your water that you're rooting your sweet potato vines in. But whenever you've got a trimming off of your sweet potato, you can just drop it into that glass full of water. I put this little drink koozie around it that I got from Tim at Ridge Life. There we go. At the prior meetup this year. And by spring, I'll have as many sweet potato slips as I could possibly want. And of course, given that gopher situation, I don't know what I'm going to do with them all, but I'll probably think of something. My friend Melody at Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It Homestead, Bake a Leg, BAKE, a leg, and Let's Dig It Homestead. I know it's a weird title for a channel, but she grew sweet potatoes in a pot this year as part of the Shed Wars competition. If you guys haven't been following Shed Wars, and especially if you haven't been following Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It Homestead, oh my goodness, that girl can grow some food. I'm telling you, she got her little raised garden area doing square foot gardening, and one of her friends got her a load full of horticultural compost to fill it up with, and that is just some of the best stuff on earth to grow food in. It's a little pricey unless you're making it yourself. Of course, you follow along and see how I make it. This next year or so, I'll be making some more and doing some more videos on it. I had plans to do that video this year, but I got sidetracked by other things. But I'm in the midst of building a big corral to do about a cubic yard at a time. I think a cubic yard a year will be enough. Maybe, who knows? Well, enough for me anyway. Not enough for everybody else. You have to figure out how to make your own. Biscuits and honey or biscuits and strawberry jam, lightly toasted. You guys are gonna make me hungry all over again. Yeah. Sassafras Red wants some pecans. Terry Douglas is here. Hey, from Missouri, buddy. I'm looking forward for spring to get here. I got my sketch pad ready to draw out my garden for next year. Yeah, there you go. Each year, that's the amount of money I spend on it. Yeah. You get your rocks in. I mean, if you're in Missouri, you're going to have rocks, which is a blessing because they're free building material. You get your rocks laid out so you can build raised beds and add stuff onto it. And whenever you've got it built from one year to the next, if you're building out of stone, it stays there, and you don't have to invest more in stone. Anyway. Okay, Sasspress Red is saying about his machine to crack the walnuts. Grandpa's Goody Getter is the name of the machine. I'll have to check that out. Grandpa's Goody Getter. my my great uncle Chester up at the produce shop, Conrad Farms, before he closed it down. For those of you who don't know, great uncle Chester and his brother, my grandfather, Carroll Conrad, came down from Kansas during the middle of the Dust Bowl and decided they were going to give a try at growing food here in northeastern Oklahoma. And they set up shop and established what's called Conrad Farms. I grew up at the old farmhouse where the I guess it was maybe the first or second farm that they started was, and that was the place where Granddad did some experimentation with creative plowing to prevent erosion and to retain water. And some of the things, some of the ideas that he worked out are featured in a book that you'll find from P.A. Yeomans called Water for Every Farm. They were pen pals, as it turns out. Anyway, he retired and went fishing, and great uncle Chester took over the truck market and the produce farm or produce shop. Now he had a machine to crack pecans with over there, and it was just basically this big set of drums that turned against each other with a flywheel and engine or a motor that turned it, and the flywheel turned these big drums, and you would take your pecans out of your bag and just pour them into a hopper. They'd flow right down to where those two drums are rolling together, and the space in between it was just big enough that as the pecans came down in there, those rollers would just crack the nuts, and you'd have the cracked nuts fall down below. Good stuff. I kind of miss having a convenient pecan cracker like that. I've got I've got everything right next to me. I've got this thing, which works pretty well. You just put your nut in there, and you're supposed to have this attached to a log or something. I need to go do that. Actually, I've got a really nice cedar wood block that I can cut out that I can attach things like my pecan cracker. And I've got another nifty little tool that I need to attach to somewhere. I've got an oil press that I have never used. I still need to set it up and mount it, and I think that cedar block would be great for that. And I'll show off using the oil press here one of these days. We'll see if we can get some oil out of either our sunflower seeds or we're going to be growing safflower this next year as well. Of course, you can express oil out of hazelnuts and pecans, peanuts too, for that matter, and make peanut butter. It's always good. Vicky says, tracking down pecan and hickory seeds too. I can gift you some pecan seeds and seedlings, but I've only got 2 seedlings this year. I had 3 started. I've got 2 left, and let me see here. As far as clones of the Wichita cultivar trees, I don't know how many I've got because I'm going to wait until the leaves start to fall off before I trim them, just to give them every last opportunity I can for them to start forming roots, and then we'll see. We'll see how many we've got, and in all likelihood, I'll send out Mark if you want one of those. If I have more than one, because I do want to keep one at least. If you want one of those, I'll send you one for free. For free, by golly! Or I'll send a Sassafras Red one for free too, for that matter. And just to make sure that the cloned tree is off using those pods to air layer, make sure that those will actually be viable if I wait that long to cut them off, because I don't know, because I haven't done it before, and I don't want to sell them to somebody in that condition and have them turn out to not make it. So we'll try them all out and see if they take, and if they survive, then the ones that we have left will be up for sale whenever we go dormant this next year, and they should be good and well developed with nice root systems in that air pruning bed. And then the following year, I should have about as many pecan trees as anybody could possibly want. So we're about 2 years away from being able to meet demand for pecan trees. So if you were waiting for pecan trees from me, it won't be until at least next year before I have enough that I can really sell a lot. But hazelnuts, yeah, probably next year on hazelnuts too. I've got a lot of volunteers coming up that I'll be harvesting come spring. Vicky says using a vise to crack black walnuts. We used to use a hammer. We had a concrete pad, and the black walnut tree back on the farm was growing just on the opposite side of this concrete slab where we had a little basketball hoop set up, and it was a half court, so it was enough to sit around and dribble the ball and practice shooting hoops and having fun. And the the black walnut tree was just on the other side of that. So we would take a ball peen hammer and the black walnuts after we got the covers off of them. And of course, the hands were going to be all black and covered with that gummy stuff. And we didn't care because we were after that black walnut meat inside. We just beat on them with a ball peen hammer until they cracked open and just sit there and probably expended more energy than we got out of them, in all honesty, to get the nut meats out. But they're so good. Black walnuts are just so tasty. Mm. Brian says it's going to be an interesting winter. I think so. I think so. I think you're right. Yep. Hazelnuts. Let me see. Tiffany, you guys, what are you? Are you zone 9? Are you zone 8B or zone 9? I don't recall exactly which one you guys are. Please tell me not 10. I know that the hazelnuts I'm growing can grow all the way down to zone 9 theoretically. So we might send some your way if you got room for them. You can always grow sweet potatoes underneath them, which is nice. Sweet potatoes can be grown as the ground cover, and you can grow the hazelnut as your bush or shrub layer up above those. At least your room for some onions and some, what else? You can grow passion fruit vine or grapes, maybe a big tree, walnuts. Yeah. Of course, yeah. Mark wants to. Okay, Mark, would you rather have more of the seedlings, or would you like to have some of the clones? That's the big question. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, one of those trees that I sent to you, one of those trees, I think I sent you 3. One of those is not a seedling. In all actuality, it is a rooted sucker. So it's going to be whatever rootstock those Wichita trees were grafted onto, and I have no idea what it is. I have no idea. So you'll have to let us know if it survives. Let us know what kind of nuts it produces. It might be interesting. Now, so many of these nurseries will send out a grafted tree because it is easier, I think, to plant your seed, grow it up, get it to be about pinky size or so, maybe a little bit less. Cut it off right above the root zone, and graft on a scion of the desired cultivar. And whatever that rootstock was is going to be, well, in the case of pecan trees, it's going to be a pecan, or I suppose they could have used a hickory for rootstock. You never know. But that's the way they get the named cultivars and spread them around. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the rootstock was bad. It's just you don't know what the genetics of it are exactly, because whenever you have a fruit tree or a nut tree that's grown from seed, the genetics are going to be a mix of the two parents, and you don't know what's going to get expressed. You might wind up with something that makes the best fruit ever, or that might be a complete and total dud. You never know. Let's see. Vicky said, "I very much appreciate some pecan seeds. We're going to have some. I'll send you a few. I'll send you a few. You get, yeah. You guys get to product test. Aren't you lucky?" Tiffany said, "I made it through the storm. Sweet potatoes hate me for not harvesting the 2 days ago, but it's all good." I harvested mine early because the gophers were getting bad. But yeah, everybody's harvesting right about now. So if you're in the deep south, it's probably about time to get started harvesting if you haven't yet. There's Chris's clever craft. I thought I didn't see you up there. You snuck a comment. Oh, there you are, way up there. Hi, Chris. Let's see. Vicky says, one of the neighbors said there are wild hazelnuts and garlic in the area and lots of elderberries. Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, wild food's great. And when I was a kid, when I was about 15 years old, I was a little bit north of you, across the state line between Arkansas and Missouri. Well, I was in Taney County, Missouri, so that's really just right on the other side of the line from you, up around the Mark Twain National Forest area. And the hills are just covered with food if you know where to look for it. And if you're young and you got strong legs and plenty of energy, then you can run around and harvest it all. But I discovered that I really like eating that kind of food, so that's the kind of thing that I love to plant. I just make sure all of my forage is right next to my front door. There'll be blackberries out there too, and maybe some dewberries. and mulberries. Maybe some mulberries. Persimmons almost definitely. Possibly some cherries too. You have to keep an eye out for them, and maybe some wild plums. Elderberries are really good. Mine are on third floor roof. No gophers. Oh, so you're growing in containers up there. Nice. Yeah, Chris, you missed it, but that's okay. I can do it again because I got plenty. All right. So, Chris, let me show you what Mary got here. She got these blanket plant covers there. So they're 10 foot wide, 30 foot long. Ta-da! That's enough for about 3 or 4 foot height with a little bit of space to block it off at the ends. But they didn't come with hoops. And the hoops that we looked at, or that I was looking at for about this size of road cover, 6 hoops was $20 on Amazon. I thought that was pricey. So we walked to our local Atwoods and had a look at some PEX tubing. And PEX tubing, 5 foot strips were $2 each. A 5 foot strip of PEX tubing is perfect. You bend that over, that's about a good 2.5 feet height. But I did one better because I happen to already have rebar in large quantities. So I just drove that down at the ends of my garden row and a couple spots in the middle, and I have about that much, about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet sticking up. And since PEX tubing fits very readily into the, or fits very readily over, I should say. I did a little funny bit where I fumbled this and knocked my head off, but I'm not going to do it again. If you want to see me being silly, you're just going to have to watch the replay. All right. So that little end there of 1/2 inch, this is 1/2 inch PEX, will go right over your rebar, like so. And that means you can add height with the rebar and use the PEX tubing for your hoop material. And I figure off a 100-foot roll of PEX tubing, I think I can get about 25 4-foot segments. So take this and stretch it out a little bit. Okay. And use this good old fashioned ruler here, which is 4 foot long. All right. That's my mark there. And from previous operations, we've got our PVC pipe cutter, which will cut 2.5 inch PVC pipe. And we just smooth as butter, cut out a brand new hoop. And I can really cut dozens and dozens of these. I think 25 altogether, 4-foot hoops, or I'm just knocking stuff over, or I can cut them to any size I really want. And there we have the hoop that we can fit over our stakes, which are made out of that rebar. Ta-da. Let me just put that cover over the top of that, and we're good to go. And I already cut out a bunch more of them. So that row that I've got set up so that the gophers don't get my potatoes, I can now put these over that, cover it with that row cover. And by golly, the frost won't get them, hopefully. All right. I miss trash day again. Growing with Hudson. That's Free Handily Made AU's son, I believe, right? Up there in Montana. Growing with Hudson. All right. So there we go, Chris. That's what we did. see. Vicky's got some wild persimmons, but this year's crop was ruined by a late freeze. Ah, shoot. We almost lost most of our, oh, we lost some of our pecans this year, the nuts, because of the late freeze. They had already started to flower. We had a bunch of males that were already in tassel. The females hadn't popped out yet. Usually you'll see the males tassel first, and then you'll have the female flowers open, and then they'll get pollinated. But the male flowers were already in tassel, and then we got the freeze. And that means that probably the seeds that we've got, the pecans that we've got this year, were fertilized by the wild native pecan tree that's over there on the other side of the KD trail over there. So in all likelihood, these ones are going to be a little bit more wild than the ones that I grew from seed last year, because the male flowers on our trees, in our yard, got killed off by that late frost. But we still got a good number pollinated. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't the landscapers that used the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes make a great ground cover. I mean, they're great ground cover. You know what else makes great ground cover? Peanuts. Peanuts make a great ground cover. It only gets to be, about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 foot high, nice green, dark, leafy, pretty little yellow flowers. Fixes nitrogen, and of course, you can eat the peanuts. Chris says, that's what I bought for hoops too. Pecs to me. Yeah, there you go. It's good stuff. All right, so there's Growing with Hudson. I'm pretty sure that's Growing with Hudson is Free Handling Mayday's son's channel. So hi, how you doing? Chris said, you think you'll be able to grow into the winter under hoops houses? Oh no. I mean, yeah, into the winter, but by the time February rolls around, no, not unless I've got a heater in there, and I'm not going to have a heater under that little row. We'll be done around February or so. Of course, I'll be starting things indoors at that time, and then around March, April, we'll move everything outdoors, and we'll be back at it again. Anyway, Brian says, I pulled my potatoes. What a joke. I got seed potatoes for next year. Wait, Growing with Hudson's in Tennessee. Maybe not the same person at all. Okay. Your rose seeds are stratifying. Nice. There we go. Yeah. So probably not going to be able to grow into the winter. As a matter of fact, we're not going to be doing a whole lot whenever winter gets here properly. Trying to stay warm mainly, and occupied and busy. Of course, one of the ways that we stay busy is goofing off, talking to friends, and hanging out, having a good time. Let's see. Oh, Vicky saying, I understand that most varieties of pecans prefer to be further south than I am, so I'm looking for cold tolerant varieties. These Wichitas are pretty cold tolerant. Of course, the natives that we've got growing are cold tolerant. They're small though, they're really small nuts, just really sweet small nuts, and a whole bunch of them. So I'm kind of hoping to get some hybrids of those too. They won't be sterile. They'll be they'll be crossbred. So hopefully they'll have some. Okay, so Growing with Hudson saying no, not Free Handling. She's so nice. I was pretty sure that Hudson's the name of her kid, and I thought that maybe that was you. Sorry, different Hudson. Yay! Anyway, let's see. I suppose I've got something that might be considered an advertisement that I'm going to do here, or you might think of it as being, I don't know, a yep. I'm gonna. Chris is right. I'm gonna have to go by and visit that channel now, because apparently I don't know who you are. This is either an advertisement or a public service announcement. I don't know what to call it. But as you know, we don't do a lot of gardening in the winter. I try to do a few things and keep current, but I'm going to be busy doing something else for a large portion of the time. So I'm going to show you one of the things that I'll be doing and kind of invite you to join me if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. Let me see here. Try share, share screen. One of these days. You know, let's go. Is it window? Tab, window, entire screen. I guess I don't have my window yet. Give me a second here. We're gonna wait until this window actually opens. It's an old computer. Takes a minute to load. Yeah, winter comes, I hide like a bear. I like to crawl into my cave and take a nap. It seems to be the nice way to spend the cold months. Let's see. You know, I was talking with a neighbor not too long ago about what prehistoric folks were busy doing and how they got by, and said, yeah, those winters must have been really really bad because they found skeletons of cave bears, entire families of cave bears in the caves right there where they were hibernating, and apparently the winter got so bad that they didn't come out in the spring. I said, no, I've got another way of looking at that. Another way of looking at that is some caveman out there would go out there in the winter, the middle of winter, whenever the bears were hibernating, and he'd go to the cave where the bears were hibernating, and they'd build up a fire at the very mouth of the cave, and they'd put some of that funny little three-leafed plant that they collected during the spring and the summer in baskets, try not to handle it with their fingers. They dumped that onto the fire as it smoldered and let that smoke go into the cave and fill the cave up. And the bears, while they're hibernating, are going to breathe in the fumes, and it'll blister their lungs and cause them to drown in their own fluids. And those bears be just killed off, and they just wait for the smoke to clear, and then you can move in there, skin the bears. The meat's still going to be good. Um, Stack the skulls up around your cave to show your power and prestige, and you've got bear meat, bear hides, and a new cave to live in by poisoning the bears in their sleep. That would be the smart way to do it if you were a caveman and you were a smart caveman. You don't want to go in there with a spear and take on the bear. That's Looney Tunes. The bear will eat you. Well, at least it'll tear you up. All right. Yeah, Chris saying it's not easy or even possible to keep up. Yeah, you can't. You can't keep up with everything, fortunately. All right, so let me see here. Mary is saying, I don't think it will use that particular plant because when they go to skin the bears, they'll be exposed to the oil of the plant. Yeah, maybe. Or they could have used something else that works in a similar fashion. I don't know. They had to use something, though. All right, so let's try. There we go. Oh, I had it for a second. All right, here we go. You guys might have heard of okay, here comes the advertisement. Yeah, you guys might have heard of massively online, massively multiplying online games. I'll get it right one of these days. And you might have been interested in trying one out, but they get expensive. They really do. I mean, you can sink your entire wallet into playing a video game online, and of course, waste your time and all that stuff. Who wants to? I mean, they're fun for going and hanging out with friends. It's kind of like a great big old chat room, like you have here on YouTube. But there's also a game that you can play that's associated with it. And some people play the game, some people just go to hang out and spend time with friends, which is great during the winter. And I do a little bit of this during the winter. Spring and summer come along, I'm busy in the garden, but in the winter I do like to play some video games. And I found one that's free to play and a lot of fun. And Mary and I went ahead and spent some money on it. So we established what's called a guild. We have a very nice guild put together, which currently consists of just Mary and I. That's it. So we're going to open it up to new members, and I figured we'll open up to people who are watching the gardening channel. Why not? That way, we're already there online, and we can have things that we have in common besides just playing a video game, right? Sounds like fun. But right now, if you are interested in getting involved, is the perfect time to start playing a game called Dungeons and Dragons Online, and I'll tell you why. See, like that segue? Was that good? All right, so there's the opening screen. Let me do a split screen here. I think maybe possibly or bigger. No. All right, yeah, we'll do it this way. All right, so right now is a perfect time to get started playing Dungeons and Dragons Online, and I'll tell you why. Right now until the 31st of December. So a good long while, a couple of months. Well, relatively speaking. All of the content for Dungeons and Dragons Online is free. Not just free temporarily, and then at the end of December they go back to you have to pay for things. No, I mean free. There's a coupon code that you can enter in. It's all caps. Whenever you log onto the game, you can go to the DDO store in the game and enter in the coupon code in all caps. DDO quests. I think that's the coupon code. We'll double check and make sure. You enter in the coupon code, enter it, and they give you poof. There you go. All the content that you had to pay for, all the way up to that point, with a couple of minor exceptions. There's I believe 2 expansions that are not included, and that's okay because it only costs a few DDO points to get those. You can get the DDO points while you're playing the game, so you don't have to spend any of the green stuff, to play the game at all, really ever, if you don't want to. And you can get everything that anybody who's playing or paying money to play the game can get for free, especially if you have a guild, which is great. Anyway, hi Amy at Craze Family Homestead. It's on StreamYard. Is it on Steam? No, you just go to www.ddo.com for the download, and you download the client to your computer. Probably want to have about 2 gigs of memory to run the game properly, but free to play, absolutely 100% free to play. The game world that our guild is established in is called Argoness, and it'll be the very first one at the top of the list if you go log in. Let me show you real quick what making a character looks like. Super easy and lots of fun. This character here is called Ponset the Wise. He's a level 23 cleric. It took me about a week to get him from brand new account to level 23, and he's ready to reincarnate and start all over again. I'm going to have him run around and gather a few items before he does that, but let's show you just basic character creation. Clerics are wonderful. People love healers. If you're just starting out, a healer is a great choice because you don't have to be super powerful to stand in the back and go, nah, heal you, I'll heal you, I'll heal you, I'll cure you, and oh, you died, let me raise you from the dead. Clerics are great. People love clerics, even if they're newbie players, because they're so useful and utilitarian. People run around with hireling clerics, which are little AIs that don't really work really well. The AI hireling clerics like to run into traps and do silly things or go and pick fights with enemies that they shouldn't be picking fights with. And a human player behind the keyboard can go, yeah, that looks dangerous. I don't think I'm going to go in there. The AI cleric doesn't know any better. But people will run around with the hireling clerics just because they need somebody in their party to heal them. And just starting out, clerics are a great choice. But another great choice, since I'm going to be doing this, another great choice are rogues. There's a purpose for rogues in the game as well. So I'm going to create one real quick here. Here's the screen so I can see what I'm doing. We'll go to full screen while waiting for that page to load because I have so many tabs open right now. It's a little slow. And this computer's just barely got enough memory to run. It's about time to upgrade, I think. Yeah, Mary's right. Also during the dog days of summer, when it's really, really hot out, I'll play a little video game too. A lot of times I like to play just a regular um, war game simulation sort of thing, chess, that sort of stuff. Let me see. Growing with Heston says, I was just stopping. Ah, nice, nice. Thank you, Growing with Heston. I'm going to have to go check out your channel now. Let's see. Let's check on this. Yeah, catch up on our chat real quick here. Jason, are you a Papa Bear? I don't know. That's a loaded question, Mark. I think the bear is a very excellent power animal and totem. We have a lot to learn from the bear, and I think I'd be very happy if I was spending my days catching fish and eating berries. But I don't know what you're talking about. Because thinking about the mammoth that was found with fresh buttercups in his mouth. How fast did it freeze? Pretty darn fast. I got some theories about how that happened. Maybe a cometary or asteroid impact splashed atmosphere out and it flash froze. Right. Mary says the smoke would probably be enough. Yeah. All right. Brian says soft rain in north central Minnesota. Off and on. Oh wow. We got rain all across this today. We got Texas, we got Oklahoma, we got Minnesota. That's pretty much all the way across the country. Let's see. Ta-da. Hi Amy, hi Amy. Let me see. Best friends in high school were the D&D nerds from Boy Scouts. There you go. Yeah, one of the problems with playing Dungeons and Dragons though is whenever you're rolling up your characters and you're playing tabletop, you have a lot of rules to worry about and keep up with. Playing online is a lot easier because everything's taken care of for you. You have a graphic user interface, and let's face it, a lot of the time you're just there to hang out with friends. Vicky says, never got into D&D. About the only game I play anymore is Solitaire. Ah, that's so sad. You can't hang out and play with friends when you're playing Solitaire. StreamYard. Let's go to this picture in picture here. There we go. Now we can see what's showing up. Hang on a second. That's not right. There we go. Yeah, my nickname in the Navy was Papa Smurf. I know, it's horrible. Horrible nickname. This camera to sort of track me as I move in here. All right, so here's your character creation screen. Whenever you first make a character after you've downloaded the game, it'll ask you to make a character. You have a choice between boy and girl characters. There's no difference at all in abilities between male and female characters in the game. It's just cosmetic. If you want to play a female toon, as we like to call them, you can play a female toon or a male. It's all up to you. And then you have choices here whether you want to play the melee type of character, the spellcaster type of character, a specialist, and then there's also iconics, but this is something that you pay for. You can purchase iconics with the in-game currency. You don't have to pay real money to get it, but you won't be able to get these whenever you first start out. All right, so we're going to go down here and choose. Let's try specialist. And under specialist, there is a variety of different specialists that you can get, from rangers to rogues to bards. And then if you pay DDO points, you can get artificer or alchemist, which are interesting. There's a way that you can unlock artificer on a character by character basis just by playing the game, or you can accumulate DDO points by playing the game and purchase it that way. Once again, you don't need money, cash money, to play this game, which makes it fun. So let's make a rogue character. It sounds like fun. Next step is path. You can either go with the prearranged stats here and abilities and skills and everything, and pick those out. The game already does the hard work for you, or you can customize. I like to customize, but that's That's just me. I'm going to customize. Next, we're going to go down to race. As you can see, there are a lot of options that you can purchase with DDO points as you get your DDO points. But for starters, you can have not Drow Elf. I have Drow Elf because I unlocked it. Dwarf, elves, halflings, humans, and just like regular pen and paper, tabletop DDO or Dungeons and Dragons, humans the best one to get because they're the most versatile. All right, and then next, and we're going to twiddle our thumbs for a minute while we wait for the computer to catch up, and I'll go ahead and look at comments real quick while we're waiting for that. Oh, it's there already, but real quick, let's see. Brian saying D&D is all fantasy roleplay. Got into it once under dining tarp at many. It was fun, freaking nerds. Mary is recommending rogues. Yeah, and she is absolutely correct. Rogues do have the ability to use scrolls and read magic spells off the scrolls, so they can use scrolls with healing spells on them, or scrolls with possibly magic user spells on them. So that makes a rogue very, very versatile in all actuality. Mary likes the ranger rogue. Yep. Mark would prefer fighter mage. Hey, fighter mage is nice. There's some really, really cool. There's some real. I can show you some of these in a bit. Fighter mages are really, really good. Paladins, not quite so much in DDO. Mainly because of, well, it depends upon what style of play you're getting into. If you're playing more casual play, then paladins are all right. But if you're into the real extreme challenges, paladins have some difficulties because, well, there's a caveat here. If you're using a ranged weapon as a paladin, then you're doing okay. But the typical image that we see of a paladin is the guy with the full armor and the shield and the sword and the holy warrior that's fighting against the forces of evil, and that's great. But on extreme challenges, the forces of evil hit really hard. So you might want to consider using a ranged weapon, which is what the rogue that we're getting ready to make will use. He'll be a ranged rogue. Rogues can detect traps and disable traps, which makes them vital party members. And unfortunately, there's just not enough of them in the world. So it's always nice to have rogues, and always nice to have clerics to help out too. Let's see. Axis and Allies is fun. Incidentally, the Dungeons and Dragons Online is being hosted by Hasbro Interactive, who did the online version of Axis and Allies once upon a time. Unfortunately, they don't support it anymore. That was a fun game. I liked Axis and Allies Online. You could sit down and have a game of Axis and Allies with anybody in the world anytime you wanted to. And it's just a shame they didn't keep on going with it. All right. All commoners are rogues. Quick delete all the comments. All right, here we go. Here we go. That's your character creation screen. I have what's called champion 32-point build. Whenever you first start out, you'll have 28-point character builds. The only reason I have the 32-point build is because this last week, I spent leveling up that one character and accumulating enough favor and unlocking a few things. For example, the Drow Elf character creation or 32-point character creation. So I've got both of those. And I just got those by playing the game. I didn't spend any money on this. No money. None. Zero. Zilch. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. All right. Good skills for rogue, or good stats for rogues. You want to have a lot of intelligence because, well, wisdom is good for search, or not search, for spotting. Pardon me. For spotting traps. You don't want to have penalties on wisdom, so get a little bit. Charisma is useful for using magical devices, scrolls, stuff like that. So you want to have enough charisma to be able to use those items. Constitution is vitally important for everyone. I would recommend at least a 14 Constitution for any character that you're making. Any character that you're making. I mean, really, any character that you're making, because that's where your hit points come. Dexterity is important for your ranged characters, but there is a way that you can use your intelligence in place of your dexterity for a ranged character, and we'll get into that in a minute. Strength is important if you want to carry gear. I want to have at least a 10. I'm going to go ahead and get a 12 for the charisma. Now, this point build system is interesting. Instead of rolling dice to find out what your character's statistics are, you can build it with points, and this makes everything fair. All characters are essentially created equal. Nobody got a good lucky roll, and look, see, I've got 18 on all my stats. Well, but the point build, the way it works is for a certain amount of points, you can get stats. For example, right now, point cost for strength is 1 at 10. But if I wanted to add another point to Constitution, which I already have it at 14, it would cost 2 points. Our intelligence is at 18, which is the maximum. But if I drop it down by just 1 point, I get 3 points back that I could spend on other things, which means I could go ahead and increase my charisma up to a 14, making me more effective at using those aforementioned wands and scrolls. Although I don't know that I'd want to do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the 18 intelligence. But every character, when it's first created, I believe, comes with what's called a lesser heart of wood that allows you to automatically reincarnate the character and redo your statistics. If you discovered that you goofed whenever you're making the character and you want to start all over, you can. Or since it's a brand new character, you can just delete it and make a new one too. That works as well. Click on next. This lets you pick out your skills here. Very important for rogues. Disable device that lets you disable traps. Jump is good for all characters because it is a video game and there is some jumping around and manual dexterity stuff involved. Let me see here. What else might we want? Opening locks is good. Rogues are good for opening locks. There are some locks that only rogues can get open. Search is important if you want to be able to find those traps once you've detected them, and spot is important for being able to detect those traps. Let me see here. Use magic device lets you use magical devices, wands, scrolls, things of that nature. And then we have other skills that may or may not be important. But as you can see, we have lots of points. I have plenty of points left over. So we'll go into things like balance. This lets you avoid getting tripped, keeping your balance in slippery conditions. Always fun. Haggle, you could use that if you wanted to get a better price on goods and services, buying things at the shop. It's not really a big deal. Some people like to just build characters with a high haggle skill just so that they can transfer their goods over to their character and then their character can go and get the best price. It's a lot of extra effort. You're not going to be hurting for money. What else can we get here? All right, I already got jump. You can try to be sneaky with the hide and move silently skills. I may as well go ahead and get those because I have so many skill points to begin with. Listen right there is good for detecting those enemies that might be invisible or really well hidden that you can't find or spot. But usually it's not a problem. Watch, they'll make an expansion where if you don't have a good listen skill, then you just fail the entire quest. Then tumbling is fun and sometimes actually useful. So tumbling is good for whenever you're falling from great heights. It helps prevent you from taking damage. It can also be used to help get you out of tight spots to be able to move around while still holding a defensive posture. Concentration, we probably won't need. Heal, we might actually. If you're casting a healing spell off of the scroll, you might want to use a little extra healing ability so that your heals are more potent off of the scroll. Then we have other auxiliary skills like bluff and diplomacy. That should finish out our skill set. Clicking on next. And while we're waiting for that page to load, I'll come back over here and see how you guys are doing. It's already loaded. All right. Brian said, my memories are flushing back. Let's see. Mary's saying, give your crafter high gully goss. What? Crying like, the peasants are revolting. You can say that again. That's funny. Bard's Tale on MS-DOS. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. All right, let's go back to the shared screen here. The trap raccoon, as Mary says, you need a high bluff. Ha! All right. This is another reason why I like humans. Humans get bonus feats at the very beginning. Having bonus feats is useful. So let's take a look. See what we've got. These are all feats that you could get. Down here are some options. If you wanted to look at passive feats, ones that you just select, they're always on. You don't have to click on anything or do anything for convenience. You can remove the active feats and just show the passive ones. Or if you want to show all of them, you can go to there. If you have one of your feats up here that's outlined in yellow, then you can choose show special feats only. Of course, a human rogue at first level doesn't have any special feats, so nothing is shown there. This makes it a little bit easier to find. I'm looking for a couple specific feats, which are proficiencies. So let me get over here. I'm looking for the proficiency to use a repeating crossbow. I think. And I'm not seeing it. Do you see it? I don't see it. Is there a reason why I can't use a repeating crossbow? Let's look at unavailable feats and see if there's a reason why I cannot see the repeating crossbow. Proficiencies, there. Exotic weapon proficiency. Okay, there it is. Oh, I had it for a second there. Martial weapon proficiencies. Was I just not down far enough? Scroll. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Proficiency, repeating light and repeating heavy crossbow. Requires a +1 base attack bonus. Ah, that's why I can't get it. Okay, so perhaps at some point in the future I could get it, but I can't get it now because human rogue doesn't have a +1 to the base attack bonus. Maybe I should have started out as a human fighter and then got rogue later. You know, it's not too late. No, really, it's not too late. Watch this. And hit back, back, back. Go to style. No, class. There we go. Style. And we can always choose. Wow, look, we got all the way down to creation, character creation, realized that the thing that I wanted to do, I couldn't do, so that's okay. We can go back. All right. We'll make him a fighter. Mary is right. Fighter rogue. Okay. We'll start out with fighter. You'll have fewer skills to begin with, but it'll work out better in the long run, I think. We're going to make this a rogue, but we'll have to start out with fighter so we can begin with the weapon that I want. A repeating crossbow is kind of like a machine gun. Loads of fun. All right. This is Dungeons and Dragons Online. Tiffany Q is asking, which game? Mary is saying, start out with rogue with higher intelligence. So what are you wanting me to do, Mary? Start out with a rogue with a higher intelligence with all the skill points to begin with, and then take fighter on my next level? Is that what you're suggesting? Hi, Katie. Uh, okay. So Mary is suggesting that I back up. Go ahead and go with Rogue, and just wait. I mean, I guess we probably could, right? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, here we go. We'll go back to Rogue. Fine, fine, fine. Uh, Style, specialist, class, Rogue. All that stuff is optional. High intelligence. I want to have at least a 14 charisma because that's their hit points. 10 strength because that lets you carry stuff. If you have your strength too low, you can wind up in a pickle because you're trying to carry all the loot back from the dungeon and you can't carry it because you're just not strong enough. It's a shame to have to throw good stuff away because you can't carry it. So having at least 10 strength is good. All right. And I'm going to have a 12 charisma just to give myself an extra plus to to use those scrolls and things like that. All right, next. I have to do this point distribution again. If I remember what I had, for every character out there, jump is good because you're going to have to jump. There are things that you have to navigate that you just have to jump. Search and spot for rogues is good. Swim is nice to have a little bit of. You don't necessarily need a lot, but a little bit is good. There are some places where you'll need to swim. Not absolutely necessary to play the game, mind you, but there are some places where it's nice to have a swim skill. Right. And then healing for rogues is weird, but every now and then, if you're going to be throwing a heal spell off the scroll, it's useful to have. All right. What am I missing? What am I missing? I've got my disable device. I've got my bluff. I've got my diplomacy. I've got my jump. I'm not going to use hide and move silently because, in all actuality, the what you need to be able to successfully hide is too high for a first life character to be able to accomplish. So there's not a whole lot of point to taking hide and move silently if it's your first, if it's your character's first life. Later on, whenever you're more powerful, you've reincarnated a couple of times, then you might be able to get away with it. But at first, no, probably not. All right, concentration. Sometimes, yeah, if you're in the middle of combat and somebody's beating on you and you're trying to read a healing scroll to heal yourself or a party member, and concentration might help. There we go. All right. So since we're not going to be a fighter for the first life, let's look for some things that'll make it easy later on. I believe we'll want point blank shot and rapid reload. How about that? Point blank shot is a nifty little thing that lets you get a +1 to hit with your ranged attacks within 15 meters, and the ranged weapons will deal an additional +1 weapon damage. Whatever the damage of the weapon was, it doubles it. And for later on, rapid reload lets you reload a crossbow or repeating crossbow a bit more quickly. And of course, because of your stats here. Great crossbow, 50% faster. Heavy crossbow, 65% faster. Dual heavy crossbow. Yes, there is such a thing as dual wielding a heavy crossbow. I know that sounds strange, but there's a special thing that you can do that'll let you use that. 40% faster. Repeating heavy crossbow, 70% faster, so on and so forth. Being able to rapid reload is good. All right, so we'll just pick up the ability to use the crossbow whenever he gets his next feat, which will be at level 3. Next, there we go. This screen here lets you review what you've got so far. Everything looks good. We'll go on to the appearance. What do you want him to look like? And this is the fun part for some people. Some people like to play the video game just so they can make interesting looking characters. So we'll start out with hairstyle. There's a nice one there. Looks like an ordinary, average, normal person, right? It looks awful ashy, don't you think? But you can have any skin complexion you want. from red, dark brown, really, really dark brown, grayish, or geez, get some sunlight, buddy. Get some sunlight. Oh my gosh. Looking a little unhealthy. All right. There we go. Yeah, let's go with that one. All right. Different hairstyles. You can change them up. A little top knot, little braids on the side, anything you like. Even bald. I think there's even a mohawk in here somewhere. If that's your thing. There you go. All right. We're gonna go with the Kevin Sorbo hair there. You can also change the nose. I think I like the one he's already got, so I'm not going to change it. Spin him around here. Different eyebrows? Sure, why not? There we go. Different eyes. Some of them look a little funky. You want to squint like Clint? We can squint like Clint. There we go. Eye color. Blue's not your thing. That's okay. You can have brown, black, gray, green, even yellowish colored eyes. Almost white. There we go. Like I said, I like the nose that you have, but you can change your nose shape as well. Anything you want. Depending upon the character race you pick, they have different options. You can customize it, make it any way you want it to look. This is all cosmetic. All cosmetic. He has no facial hair, but you can give him a beard if you want. There's 24 different types of facial hair that you can give him. I'm not going to go through them all. And then facial details are things like little scars over the eye or on the cheek or what have you. I think we're good. Let's name him. What do you want to name him? All right, guys. I need suggestions for a character name. What am I going to name this character? Angelina Jolie. Dwarven fighter with a Mary saying dwarven fighter with a tower. I have made a dwarven fighter with a tower shield and a high tumble skill. He was just running around tumbling into heavy armor. It's funny. Mary is right. If you don't have high concentration, you got to be able to dodge a lot. Plebeian beheader. Okay. All right, that sounds good. We're gonna name him plebeian. We're gonna make him. We're gonna make him just plain neutral for alignment. All right, Mark, for you, plebeian beheader. Here we go. That name is taken. I thought it might be. All right, we have to come up with a different name. Oddly, the plebeian beheader was taken. No way. It is. It's taken, Mark. It's taken. Uh, how about Patronus? No, that name's just not allowed. Oh, all right. Sometimes it can be hard to find a name that hasn't already been taken or is actually. Dragon egg sucker. Oh no. How about Dargon? We can change up the order there. Nope, Dargon's already taken. Hmm. How about Milo? Minderbender. Catch 22. Nope, Milo's already taken. Really? Let's try a different spelling. Nope. But Milo with an H in there. Nope, that one's taken too. Oh my gosh. How about sometimes it can be hard to find an original name. Nope, that one's taken. Oh, darn it. That would have been a good name too. I'm Milo Minderbender. I'm 21 years old. All right. Let's see if I got any other name suggestions from you guys. Myopic. I can't even say that, Mark. How about myopic? I'm not going to say the last part. Uh, he's a myopic archer. Hey, we got one to take. All right, there we go. We've got a first level rogue character. His name is Myopic Archer. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the help. A lot of the times your really good fantasy names are already taken. Also, titles are usually taken. Um, Oddly enough, I do have one character that has a title for a first name. His name is Ordinal. And Ordinal is a member of a holy order that's usually leads in prayers or something of that nature. Things like cardinal, prelate, prior, those ones you can't get. They're just not allowed, unfortunately. Either not allowed or already taken by somebody. Can I find the Day of Defeat website? Yes, but probably not while I've got so many windows open. Short shooter. Naming 2 beers in a foreign language. Yeah. Yeah. Molim vas de Viva. The Piva. Or whatever it was. That was fun. Are you this character after my son? What? Little Dibble. All right. Dos cervezas. Dos cervezas. Zwei Bieren. Zwei Bieren, bitte. Zwei Bieren. That would be a good name. Mary named one 2 beers in Bosnian. That was funny. All right. Whenever you have a better computer, when you have a better computer and don't have a whole bunch of windows open, it runs a little bit faster. All right, here we go. We have a brand new character. All right. Now, whenever you first start out in the game and you have never done any characters at all, you will not have this particular screen. And the reason you will not have this particular screen is because I have this screen due to having already created a character, played the game a little bit, and unlocked um, veteran status. And veteran status characters have the option, if they want, of starting out at level 4 instead of just level 1. So you'll begin on this little ship where it lets you choose what level you want to start at. All right, these little button bars here are useful. You're going to want probably at least 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 of them. I'm going to go ahead and make 4 button bars. We'll have number 1 down here, right above where everything is streaming. I have number 2 on top of it. I'll put number 3. Oh, about there. Move this over so I can see. There we go. Number 3 about there. And number 4, put that right there, where hopefully I will not accidentally click on it. All right, and then we'll just rearrange things. Search you're going to do a lot of, so I'll put that there. Occasionally we'll need to open locks, so I'll put that there. Not going to use that, not going to use that. Probably not going to use that or that. I might wind up using trip, who knows. And I may try to sneak every now and then. Even though I don't have any particular skill in it, you can always try to sneak. So at the moment, about the only thing I'll be doing with any regularity is trying to trip something. And I'll have my dialog box here, my little focus orb that just whenever you move around and look, whatever you're pointed at shows up in this little focus orb. There it is. All right. This thing where the point where that little white circle shows up, it's called mouse looking. You do this by clicking on the right mouse button and holding it, and then you can just move around and adjust your point of view, which is sometimes handy, especially if you're trying to aim at something that you don't want to automatically target. All right. Now this is important. When you have your hotkeys the way you want them, these little button bars, when you have them the way you want them, hit Control and equals together. Control and equals there. This will lock your button bars. Okay. Control equals. Notice all the little icons on the side disappeared. That way, whenever you're running around, you're clicking on things, you accidentally click on the button bar, you don't accidentally click on one of these things that would open or close a different bar. Anytime you mess with your button bars, always afterwards hit Control and 1 together, which means that the active button bar you're using is button bar number 1. Let me move forward a little bit. You can see him. All right. And with button bar number 1 activated, if we hit the number 1 key on the keyboard, it'll activate whatever this thing is here. So notice the pointer's not on that. I hit 1. He executes a trip. Isn't that nice? All right. He's all set up now. Or as set up as he's going to be. It says speak with this person. Well, that's not the Minotaur there, so let's go find that person. Easily identified by, wow. He's identified by the little chalice over their head. Talk to him. And it says here, as a veteran status character, you can have the option of starting at level 1 or level 4. Well, I'm going to start at level 1. So I'll start at level 1 at Korthos or Keep on the Borderlands. Those are the 2 starting areas for beginning players. If you're just starting the game, the only option you have is starting on Korthos Island. I know, it's sad. It's sad. All right. Now, I have the volume on the computer turned down at the moment, but there's a narrator talking in the background. And this is a good point if you're just starting out to get yourself familiarized with your controls. The W, A, S, and D keys on the keyboard let you turn left, right. That's those. B and W let you go backwards and forwards. You may have seen this before in other game setups. All right, I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit so you can hear. Wow, we've got seagulls in the background, and I'm looking around. I'm on a beach. There's some palm trees off in the distance over there. Looks like a shipwreck. Oh, this guy's talking to me. All right, so we walk up and talk to him, and Jeets here has got his dialogue. He says, "You were on the ship that was attacked by the dragon." Oh wow, we were attacked by a dragon. And he has a couple dialogue options. You can choose: are you looking for survivors or looting bodies, or skip the Kothos Island storyline? You can select that one for more information. You're not going to want to do that because there's some goodies that you can only get by doing this first solo quest. So we'll click on, are you looking for survivors or looting bodies? Of course, Jeets is another rogue, just like you. And he says, I didn't take anything from you. You got nothing worth taking. And he says, and you say, I seem to displace my belongings. And he says, there you go. All right. I'm having some control issues, probably because having too many windows open. I just hit. This is weird. We're not supposed to be running around like this. Really? This is a horrible way to start out showing somebody a game. We're apparently glitching. Okay. Stop! Good Lord. Why is the game acting like this? This is weird. Okay. All right, now it's working properly. Computer's being weird today. I've got buttons sticking. See this? Why is he auto running like that? Makes no sense. Okay. I don't know why the computer's doing these things. Looks like there's a bit of a lag between the time that I issue the commands and when they're executed. So I'm just gonna tap one button at a time, and hopefully that will sort itself out in a minute. All right. We go up and talk to the rogue, and he says, "There's a weapon for you, but then you do me a little favor, tit for tat." All right. Well, let's see what you want. The weapons that he's offering are. Have a look. Great axe, heavy mace, longsword, quarterstaff, a light crossbow and bolts, longbow and arrows, or a rapier. This is all you have. These are the options. We'll go ahead and take. I'll take the light crossbow and bolts to begin with. It says click I to open your inventory, so I'm going to press that button. My inventory opens up, and I see that I have some tools. These are thieves' tools. That's useful for disabling traps and opening locks and stuff like that. We've got a crossbow. I'm going to put this over here and over here, so it'll be equipped. And if I want, I can put my crossbow bolts right there, and we're all set. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you made a mistake when you made your character, you've got this thing called Lesser Heart of Wood. It's right here. This lets you rebuild your character from scratch. You can also use that whenever you unlock, say, veteran status or champion build, and rebuild your character if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. The only clothing you have to begin with are these starter rags. Some people like to save them. You can if you want to. They don't do anything for you. They're just rags. But I've noticed that a lot of players like to run around and just wear rags and show off how powerful they are with no equipment. So, anyway. Ask him what task he has for you. He says he wants you to go find this cleric by the name of Selimus and help her. So we're going to go find this cleric named Selimus. Now, all around the place, you may notice that there's these barrels, crates, boxes. If you like, you can break these open, and occasionally you'll find goodies in them. At the moment, I've got my crossbow out, and I'm going to use up ammunition if I shoot those boxes. So I don't want to shoot them, but I might consider unequipping my crossbow and just walking up to a box, punching it, and look, a starter potion of heal light wounds dropped out. I'll get that. All right, and we can go over here. This might need to be closer to that crate to break it. There we go. There's copper pieces. Okay. Later on, when you see copper on the ground, you'll just leave it lying because it's not worth a lot. But when you first start out, every copper counts. There's another starter potion. Nothing in that crate. Break open a barrel. Silver pieces. Hey, we're getting rich now. And there's this guy here. Who is this guy? I guess that's going to be our guide. He's going to show us what to do and how to get there. Just break the barrels and crates. Hold the left mouse button to swing your weapon. Okay. The left mouse button is what we're using to swing our weapon. And we're just having a problem with our keyboard sensitivity, I guess. Most likely because I have so many windows open. All right, we're not gonna keep on doing that. It's kind of terrifying, actually. Thanks for asking. Little tips will pop up on the screen. These little icons that tell you how to work the controls. So it will explain what you're doing and how to do it. All right. So here's your very first quest. It's a solo quest. So you only have solo difficulty. Later on, you can choose the difficulty that you want to do quests at. Of course, the harder the difficulty is, the more experience, the better the loot, so on and so forth. But this one is solo. By the way, all the way up until December 31st, Dungeons and Dragons Online is giving away for free all of their adventure packs, with the exception of, I think, the Feywild Adventure Pack and let's see, what is the other one? Mary will know. There's one other one that they are giving away for free. All the adventure packs are being given away for free, and then a few of the expansions that you would ordinarily have to pay for are for sale for 99 DDO points. It's easy to get 99 DDO points by playing the game. You'll pick up 99 DDO points probably your first day easily. So everything all the way up until December 31st, free or next to free, and all the things that you can get by playing the game. So you don't have to spend any money on this at all. But it might help to have a computer with a better card than mine, because as you can see, I'm having issues. All right. I am the rogue myopic. And you can ask questions at this point, but it all boils down to finally saying, all right, let's go. Doesn't the narrator sound kind of like Captain Janeway? Incidentally enough, there is a Star Trek alumni that did some narration for this game. There's one of the quests called Temple of Elemental Evil is narrated by Will Wheaton. No, I'm not kidding. It's Will Wheaton. Wesley Crusher. Yeah. All right. New objective pops up, says climb the ladder. And instantly, if you're ever confused about what you need to do, have a look at your quest log right here. It'll say climb the ladder. Well, there's a ladder. That must be the ladder we're supposed to climb. I'm going to go over here and climb it. Here we go. I've climbed the ladder. I'm still having that issue with the character running in place. This is most likely being caused by having multiple windows open. We're supposed to drop down through this crevice. Okay. Instantly, I have tumble. I think. I'm not moving. There we go. Okay. There's something up ahead. And equip the crossbow. It might be dangerous. All right. Tell you what, this issue I'm having today with the keyboard is really, really distressing. I don't know why it's doing this, but all right. See? Having difficulty moving for some reason. It's probably because I'm streaming on StreamYard while I'm trying to do this. But I'm gonna sneak up on this guy. Wait a minute. I somehow managed to get on the wrong hotkeys. If that does happen, Control 1 will put you right back on the right hotkeys. I'm gonna start sneaking. Let's sneak a little bit closer. Remember, I don't have any particular skill in hiding and sneaking. So whenever I'm moving along and you saw that little white dot appear by his feet, red, that means that if that monster was able to hear me, he would have heard me. I'm gonna use the right mouse button to attack. Wow. Really? This is embarrassing. I don't know why the character is running by itself like this. It's weird. It doesn't usually do this. Ordinarily, if I was having an issue like this, I would probably log out, log back in, and see if that fixed the problem. I don't know if I can do that while we're still streaming live, so. She's talking to me. All right. You can charge. I'm gonna sneak in. Oh, this is embarrassing. I've got this character running around like a fool. There we go. Oh no, I got shot a couple times. I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna open up my inventory and find we got these potion bottles. There we go. Put those in my hotkey. Now I can drink one. Okay. Okay, that's better than nothing. I'm gonna sneak again. Maybe they won't see me. Nobody else is watching right now. All right. Let's shoot that guy over there. Hey, there's a guy right next to me. Oh, somebody else got him. Okay. Now we're gonna go explore for a way out. Nope. All right. So at this point, you would dive in, go down, find the key and get out. But since we're having issues with the stream, we're going to just go ahead and call it right there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's probably the streaming that's causing the game to have issues while I'm trying to stream it. So, some people got to be up early. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I'll put a post up on the community tab with the links for how to get the game, and also who to contact whenever you do finally create a character. We'll get you invited into the guild, and we can hang out and have fun over the winter and play some video games and talk about gardening while we can't do it. It may be fun. All right. Night, Chris. Good night, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. And of course, hey, Hex Tubing. This stuff is great. You buy it in bulk, make your own hoops, and save a bundle. Don't get it from Amazon. And that's all I got for tonight. Catch you later.